Imagine a young man sitting in a dark room. The only light comes from the small screen in his hand. His thumb moves up and down, scrolling through a sea of colors and sounds that mean nothing. He has a mountain of work waiting for him, a project that could change his life, or a book he has always wanted to write. But his body feels like it is made of lead. Every time he thinks about starting, a wave of heaviness hits his chest. He tells himself he will start in 5 minutes, then 10, then an hour. The sun sets, and he is in the same chair, feeling smaller and weaker than when the day began. This is the modern trap. We are surrounded by sweet fruit that requires no climbing, and because of this, our legs have forgotten how to carry us to the top of the mountain.
There is nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, or smarter. Everything is within. Everything exists. Seek nothing outside of yourself. Miyamoto Musashi. This feeling of being stuck is not a ghost, and it is not a lack of magic. It is a simple law of weight. Think of your mind like a path through a thick forest. If you always take the flat, easy road, the bushes and thorns will grow over the difficult path until it disappears. When you finally try to walk that difficult path, every step hurts. The thorns scratch your skin, and the branches block your way. You turn back because the easy road is right there, smooth and clear. But the smooth road leads to a swamp, while the thorny path leads to the peak, where the air is fresh and the view is endless. Centuries ago, a man named Takezo lived in the mountains of Japan. We know him now as Miyamoto Musashi. He was not born a master. In his youth, he was wild, unfocused, and driven by chaotic impulses. He spent years hiding in the woods, living like an animal. His mind was like a storm at sea, moving in every direction but going nowhere. He faced the same heaviness you feel today. The difference is, he learned that the only way to move a mountain is to pick up one small stone at a time. He did not wait for motivation to strike him like lightning. He understood that motivation is a flickering candle, but discipline is the sun, which rises whether you want it to or not. The reason you struggle to do hard things is because your brain has become soft. It has been trained to expect a reward for doing nothing. When you scroll through your phone, you're eating mental sugar. It gives you a quick burst of heat, but it leaves you shivering and hungry a moment later. Hard tasks like studying, exercise, or building a business are like a slow-burning fire. It takes time to start, it requires effort to feed, but once it glows, it provides steady, lasting warmth. Musashi once fought a duel against a man named Sasaki Kojiro. Kojiro was famous for his long sword and his perfect technique. He was the easy road of talent. Musashi did not try to match his elegance. Instead, he arrived late. He carved a sword out of a piece of wood from a boat while he crossed the water. He chose the path of most resistance. He used the sun at his back to blind his opponent. He won not because he was faster, but because he was more grounded. He had spent his life doing things that were uncomfortable. He slept in the rain. He carved wood until his hands bled. He walked thousands of miles in straw sandals. By doing the hard things every day, the impossible duels became simple. Step by step, walk the 1,000-mile road. Miyamoto Musashi. If you want to train your brain to crave the difficult, you must change your relationship with friction. Most people see friction as a wall. They hit it and stop. But a warrior sees friction as a tool. Without friction, a sword cannot be sharpened. Without friction, your feet cannot grip the earth to run. When you feel that heaviness in your chest as you look at a hard task, do not pull away. Lean into it. Feel the weight. Acknowledge that this is the moment where sharpening happens. Start by removing the sweet fruit. If you spend your mornings scrolling, you're telling your brain that the day is already over. You've already received your reward. Why would your mind want to work for a heavy reward later? Try this. For the first 2 hours of your day, stay in the cold. Do not check your messages. Do not look at the news. Do not seek comfort. Sit with the silence. Let your mind get hungry for stimulation. When your mind is hungry, even a difficult book becomes a feast. Even a hard project becomes a way to satisfy that hunger. This is how you flip the switch. You don't force yourself to work. You make your mind starve for the work. Musashi wrote the Book of 5 Rings while living in a cave near the end of his life. He was old, he was tired, but he was still carving. He didn't need a palace or a soft bed to find clarity. He knew that the environment doesn't matter if the inner landscape is firm. Many of you wait for the perfect time to start. You wait for the room to be clean, for the weather to be right, or for your mood to improve. This is a trap. Perfection is a leash that keeps you tied to the fence. Musashi fought 60 duels, and not one of them was perfect. He fought in the mud, in the dark, and against groups of men. He survived because he accepted the reality of the moment.
Do nothing which is of no use. Miyamoto Musashi. Look at your life through this lens. How much of what you do is of no use? The hours spent worrying about what others think, the energy wasted on habits that leave you feeling empty.
Every time you choose a useless action, you are dropping a stone into your own backpack. No wonder you feel heavy. No wonder the mountain looks too high. You are carrying the weight of 1,000 useless things. Drop the bag. Feel how light your shoulders become when you stop caring about things that do not move the needle of your life. The brain is like iron. If you leave it in the rain, it will rust. It becomes brittle and breaks easily. But if you put it in the fire and hit it with a hammer, it becomes steel. Every difficult task is a hammer blow. Every time you say no to a distraction, you are folding the metal, making it denser and stronger. You must learn to love the sound of the hammer. You must learn to love the heat of the forge. Because a rusted mind can only stay at the bottom of the hill, but a steel mind can cut through any obstacle. The primary thing when you take a sword in your hands is your intention to cut the enemy, whatever the means. Whenever you cut, vanish, burn, or control, it is all for the purpose of cutting. Miyamoto Musashi. In modern terms, your enemy is the resistance. The resistance is that voice in your head that says, maybe tomorrow. It is the voice that tells you that you are not ready. You must have only one intention, to cut through that voice. Do not argue with it. Do not try to reason with it. Just cut. If the task is to write, put your hands on the keys. If the task is to move, put your feet on the floor. The moment you take action, the resistance loses its power. Resistance lives in the future and the past, but it cannot breathe in the present moment. Action is the only place where the resistance dies. Musashi was a man of many crafts. He was not just a swordsman, he was an artist, a sculptor, and a strategist. He understood that how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you are lazy with your laundry, you will be lazy with your business. If you give up on a hard workout, you will give up when your career gets tough. There are no small tasks. There is only your level of discipline. Treat the smallest chore like a duel. Wash your dishes with total focus. Walk to the store with your back straight. When you train your brain to be disciplined in the small things, the big things take care of themselves. You must understand that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain. Miyamoto Musashi. Now think back to the young man in the dark room. His name was Kenji, but he could be anyone.
He finally feels the weight of his own wasted hours. It is heavy, but it is also a sign. The weight tells him that he is still alive and that he still has something worth doing. He looks at his phone, and for the first time, he sees it for what it is, a thief. It steals his time, his focus, and his strength. He does not get angry. He does not feel sad. He simply puts the phone face down on the table. He takes one deep, slow breath. The room is quiet. The mountain of work is still there. The thorns on the path are still sharp, but Kenji has changed his intention. He stands up. His legs feel solid. He walks to his desk. He does not think about the whole project. He does not think about the end. He only thinks about the first step. He picks up his pen like it is a sword, and he begins.
Control your emotion, or it will control you. Japanese wisdom.
You have the same choice right now. You can stay in the dark, or you can step into the light of the forge. Do not wait for the heaviness to go away. It will never go away as long as you are standing still. The weight only disappears when you start moving. The mountain doesn't get smaller, you just get stronger. Go now. Put down the distractions, embrace the friction, and start carving your own life one stroke at a time. The peak is waiting, but the path only appears for those who are brave enough to walk. Be like the stone that stays firm in the river. Be like the blade that never loses its edge. Be the master of your own mind.
The road to self-mastery is long, and most will fall by the wayside. If you are ready to walk this path in silence, to forge your mind into a weapon of strategic calm, then join our ranks. Subscribe to Ronin Mindset to sharpen your intellect and conquer your own chaos. Do not just watch, evolve. Your journey begins with a single decision.